Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys so much for joining me once again. So, the ever interesting, fascinating question about Nibiru, Planet X, the Anunnaki, ETs, extraterrestrials, aliens, have they visited in the past? Are they still here? Are they going to return? What do you guys think? There's such interesting stories in history when we look through the annals of human history, at least that which we've been able to uncover. And so we see all these humanoid beings so similar to us, but some slight differences, including the size. All these legends of these beings actually creating humanity. I mean, it hits me too. Just like when we had a meal today, lunch. And so, Mom basically did the prayers. And of course, she's brought up in the Judeo-Christian tradition, so it's Our Father who art in heaven. So the heavens are the stars above us. That pretty much says it all. It's interesting how everything has changed through time. Of course, we could view heaven as a different dimension as well, and that's what we kind of do now. But was that the original interpretation? Because Anunnaki itself is those from whom the heavens came, fallen ones coming to earth. When we think of it now, we think of it more like a fall from grace, a fall from a higher dimension, a dimension where everything is perfect and beautiful, down to this dimension, which has its flaws. It's so interesting how things change over time. But again and again and again, we see the evidence. For instance, again, I've spoken about this a million times. Moses being led by a pillar, a glowing pillar during the day and a star at night. We have the wise men being led by a star. And we've had the abduction phenomenon going on forever. And, in the old days, they used to think that they were abducted by evil spirits, fairies, gnomes, things like that. Dwarves, black elves, brown elves. There's so many different legends from all over the globe. But again, are we always really talking about the same thing with different labels? And now we see, NASA has come out there and they've actually done experimentation. There's been experimentation done by actually Caltech researchers, I should say, that NASA's basically putting here on their website. Caltech researchers have found mathematical evidence suggesting there may be a planet X, some other planet there, deep in the solar system. This hypothetical Neptune-sized planet orbits our sun at a highly elongated orbit far beyond Pluto. The object, which researchers have nicknamed Planet 9, could have a mass about 10 times that of Earth and an orbit of about 20 times farther from the sun on average than Neptune. It may take between 10,000 and 20,000 Earth years to make one full orbit around the sun. Well, that is fascinating stuff. Of course, Sitchin's work says 3,600 years. And, everybody has their opinion. So, they actually are saying, there is mathematical evidence, gravitational and otherwise, which is showing that it really may exist. So this is new today out of RT. Planet X might just be a bowling ball-sized black hole. Now that's what the researchers are now saying. So an astronomical anomaly considered by scientists to point to an as yet undiscovered planet may actually be a big black hole lurking deep within our solar system, according to a new theory. Mathematical evidence for a planet dubbed Planet 9 or Planet X by space scientists was revealed by Caltech back in 2015. And as we have just covered, it could take 10 to 20,000 years for it to do one orbit, as it sits between 45 billion and 150 billion kilometers from our star. And now, however, two physicists are suggesting that it isn't a planet, but it's a planet mass black hole, sucking in matter from its surroundings. So if they're correct, they say they will be able to find supporting evidence in the form of flashes of gamma rays, created by interactions between dark matter particles in the halo surrounding the black hole. So not only that, but the pair say in their paper on their theory that a black hole matching the projected mass of planet X would be so dense it could be only the size of a bowling ball. Hence, how could you spot it? But yet, mathematically, there's evidence that something is there. And, it's so fascinating to look at this and to look through our history and then think just about what's happened recently. We had Oumuamua come by. And as you see here, they said it doesn't have to be an alien ship. They could possibly explain from natural reasons why it did what it did. But, I'm not buying it. And I think a lot of people aren't going to buy it because it's exactly what has been proposed by scientists in how you harness the energy of a big object like a planet or a sun in order to gain speed and to most efficiently use whatever fuel you're using to propel yourself from one star system to another. And so, interestingly enough, this object came in at the type of orbit that they were talking about. And it is oddly shaped. You don't see this shape. It's a cigar-shaped object, which, oddly enough, we have lots of reports about cigar-shaped UFOs. That's actually one of the more common shapes that we see. And then we have, I don't know if you want to call them legends, but you have a lot of material out there from people like Corey Goode, David Wilcox, a lot of the other people like Stephen Greer, and going on down the line, the former Canadian Prime, what was his name? Paul Hellyer. You have so many different people, whistleblowers, that have come out and said that these ships are real. There's other types of beings out there. There are reptilians, there are Draco, there are Greys. There are all sorts of other beings out there with us right now. They've been watching us. And one of the ships that they use is exactly this size. So is that just a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that it came in, as you're seeing here, that it came in from above? Now this one we're looking at, this is the new one, Borisov. So this is the new one that's coming that we're talking about in a minute. But when we're talking about Oumuamua, it comes down, zoom, and slingshots, gains speed, and flies off in a different direction. That's a natural object. There were scientists that said, no, this has to be an alien ship. So it's fascinating that, again, it's coming in that type of orbit. And so Borisov, according to this came out 3 days ago, and Oumuamua are just the beginning of an interstellar object bonanza. So they're saying now that we just have the ability to spot. We know what we're looking for. We're going to find a lot more of these objects. There's going to be a whole bunch of them that we're going to see, and we should actually be able to see things that are just larger than 6 feet now with the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope. So because this object's there, we're going to see so much more of that coming in. Now, Borisov is not going to have the same sharp angle. It's coming in from the same sort of area. So the other thing you got to wonder is, is there a whole bunch of things in this area? Is it trailing along with something else? Are both of these trailing along with something else? Is it possibly Nibiru? So many people believe in Nibiru. It's just amazing. More and more every day. So is this just the beginning of an avalanche of things that are going to be coming into our area? Or is this really a comet? So it's pretty interesting. And as they say here, they're calling it a coincidence that these two things are coming in from about the same area above us, where we can't see them clearly. And perhaps in years gone by, we would never have had a clue. And now the sign news here. Astronomers detect cyanide gas in interstellar comet 21 Borisov. So this is a common ingredient in solar system comets. And so, is this one a comet, but the other one was maybe really a spaceship of some sort? It's still just basically everybody's guess. And I guess you're going to have to just go with your instincts on this one. But the fact that this is a comet coming in at an interesting angle like that really screams to me of just it being something different. There's something maybe a little bit more special about this. And again, perhaps this is just going to be one of many that are coming in. You know, it makes me think of Mother Shipton's dragon, of Mother Shipton's prophecy. And it makes me think of Nostradamus as well, and so that famous quatrain that's burned in my head is, Mabus then will soon die, then will come of people and beasts a horrible rout, then suddenly one will see vengeance, 100-hand thirst, hunger, when the comet shall run. So automatically it gets me thinking, is this that comet? Obviously, the powers that be have been trying to start war for the longest time. We know about the plans, and we could see all the tensions with Iran, still with Venezuela. And then, when you look deep into a lot of these things, you got to wonder, because we create our own reality. We are constantly creating reality every day, every second. And there's the thought of timeline jumping, the Mandela effect. We'll talk about that in a future video as well in greater depth. So our ideas being seeded, because look at Nostradamus himself again too. And he was in tight with all the royals. He was in tight, he was in the court. So again, and some have even wondered if he was part of the Illuminati themselves or some sort of, secret fraternity, which, believe me, these groups do exist. They are real. So, what is really going on here? And is this, again, seeding of a thought into the consciousness of the masses? Because together we are super powerful. And when it comes to manifesting things, we can manifest peace or war very quickly if we put our minds to it, if enough of us do. So this gets you into the whole idea of prophecy as well. And just looking at it from the standpoint of, is this just one possible outcome? I would say so. And then the thing is, well, is it a warning or is it a seeding? And the same we could say about other prophecies from other groups as well. So perhaps there's a little bit of both in the works here as well. All very, very interesting stuff, and we most definitely live in very interesting times. And perhaps we are the generation that's going to know the real truth about Nibiru, about the Anunnaki, about our origins. Perhaps we'll actually see the return of beings like this in our lifetimes. What do you guys think? I look forward to your comments. As always, like, share, subscribe if you do like it. And even if you disagree, go ahead, share your comments. Let's hear what you guys are thinking. And thank you for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi as well. God bless and namaste.